Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're into combat sports, motivation, and real stories from inside the fight game, you're in the right place. Today I've got a special guest, an undefeated heavyweight champion, amateur boxer, and a local hero in his community. We're going to talk about training, recent fights, and what it's really like to chase greatness in this sport. Let's give a big welcome to Charles the Bear King Hinton. What's up, bro?
Hey, how are you? First, I gotta correct you on there. I think I put in some. It said undefeated. I think it was announced as undefeated, but I have had a loss.
You have had a loss.
It was, yeah, I have had a loss, but
Okay.
so my first official fight, I did lose, but the rest of them I've won since.
1 cent. And you haven't lost as a
Yeah,
champion, have you?
as a champion, no. Like as a champion, I haven't lost. No.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it still rings true. Undefeated. You're undefeated champion. Undefeated
Yeah,
champion.
there we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Not an undefeated fighter, but an undefeated champion. So let's start from the beginning. How did you get into boxing and what pulled you into the sport?
That's a good question. So I actually, it's a funny story as a kid. So it goes back even like as I was a child. So as a, my father died when I was like 7.
Okay.
He was the first person that ever taught me how to punch. He was a black belt in karate. And so the first punch he ever gave me was right at the tip of my nose because he was teaching me a lesson about how to not bully my younger brother.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was naturally a stocky kid, so like I knew how to throw my weight around, but I didn't know like what I was capable of by any means. And after he passed, I grew up watching a lot of pulp culture movies. I mean, and I became a very shelled up individual. And one of the greatest movies I've ever watched was Rocky,
Yeah.
by with Sylvester Stallone. And I remember sitting in front of the TV with my mom, and when I watched it, I asked her, I said, "Hey, can I do that?" Right? And she said, "You can do anything you want to do as long as it's within God. As long as it's meant for you and you put your heart into it, you can do it." So that kind of like stuck with me throughout a lot of things in life, a lot of hardships and struggles. When I bought my house, I bought a punching bag at one point. My brother had some MMA gloves, and I would hit it from time to time. But life is crazy, and when you're dealing with the world and the mold of working, having a job, having a house, you kind of forget on your dreams. Um, and I had this thing happen in life where um, I was about 500 pounds, deep in depression, and uh, I I couldn't even get, I just had my fourth child with my wife, and I went to go get a vasectomy, and they wouldn't even touch me with a 10-foot pole on
Yeah.
just a basic surgery because my blood pressure was so bad, at risk of a heart attack. They couldn't put me on any anesthesia.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, something's got to change. So I started a weight loss journey, and at the time where I worked, I just by happenstance one day in a break room, I met this guy named Ramel Torin. He's known as Razor Ramel, as a pro fighter,
Yeah.
and
I know
at
Ramel.
the
That's
time,
crazy.
Ramel,
Yeah.
good deal.
Boxing's such a
So
small circle.
so 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 he I asked him a few things. At the time, he was an amateur about to go pro.
Okay.
And I asked him a few things, and I said, I've always wanted to do it. I just never really knew how. And in Ohio, I grew up in Fostoria, Ohio. Right now I live in Tiffin. And um, growing up around that area, unless you lived in Toledo, Cleveland, or Columbus, there wasn't anywhere that really could teach you how to box.
Yeah.
You had to travel to go there, like Perrysburg area. So it really, coming from like essentially poverty, like
Yeah.
I didn't have any knowledge when I was younger. So I asked, that I would ask them. I said, hey, I asked some information about what it was, and I knew where I was at that time. I was about 450 pounds, and I knew if I was to start this and really like just for fight, and at first it was just for fitness. It
Yeah.
was just to get healthier. And because I had wrestled in high school a little bit, and I loved that competitive nature. Um, and I knew that I would have to get in shape a lot more. Uh, so I didn't get discouraged, and I didn't quit. And that's the one thing I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to quit it. My family needed it. My kids needed it. They needed their dad. I didn't want to put myself in an early grave and being this overweight mess,
Yeah.
of a depressed human being. And so I had lost about another 30 pounds, 30, 40 pounds. And then back in 2023, January, I walked into that gym, and the community over there was really good. They didn't really care what you look like, where you came from, whether it was fitness, whether it was for competition. They just wanted to help you. And when I met Gary Young, and he's a very great individual who's spread out with a lot of different talents, and he knows quite a bit about the fight game, whether it be MMA, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling. I mean, he knows a lot, and he
Yeah.
also knows a lot of other individuals. So I'd been there. I was going there part time, and I was dropping weight pretty fast because that's the thing about boxing. It's a whole body sport.
Yes,
Like
sir.
you don't. It's like wrestling, like wrestling, swimming. You're putting your everything into it because it's all kinetic energy from the tips of your toes all the way up through even your top of your head.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
so so I was like dropping weight pretty considerably, and and mind you, it's part time. Like
Yeah.
it's part time because I'm 34. Okay, advantages that kids have when they're younger, 17, 18, 14, 13. They have all the advantages in the world and all the time. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm getting into this when everybody's retiring. I
Yeah.
mean, like what is it? AJ over in the UK, Anthony Joshua. There's already talks of retirement like next year,
Yeah.
or like around 36. I mean, granted, he's done it. He's done it all.
Yeah.
But like, um, I just want to. I mainly want to do this as a fitness, and then it turned into something else. So part time in there working with community of that gym, demolition fight team,
Uh-huh.
and every one of them helped me along the way in
That's
some
great.
capacity.
Let's you've defended your belt several times now. Do you remember your very first championship fight? How did that go and how have you grown since then?
Well, that's a good question. So my first fight, as I mentioned before, my very first, and by the way, every fighter, unless you're a freak of nature, loses their first fight. Okay,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I
like
lost my first
whether
one.
it's a club, yeah, whether it's a club fight or you get those jitters or whatever. Like whether it's a club fight or like a sparring session or whether it's that first official, mostly, and even Floyd Patterson, even I'm pretty sure in his book, he quoted that out. Like you're gonna lose your first fight. That's
Yep.
okay because you need to get those jitters out. You need to go to one. It's a test. Is this for you?
Yep.
And I remember, so this guy named Juan, um, he was my first club fight, and I remember getting hit by him at like lightning speed for a heavyweight, and just shelling up. But afterwards, I mean, it was like like if you were to score it, if it actually counted, it was probably like a 26-30.
Yeah.
According to what I was told, and it taught me that I really liked it. I was like Rocky Marciano when he got hit, um, he smiled at it, like he liked it. He liked
Yeah.
the adrenaline. So after that fight, I wanted to get in a lot better, like increase every whether I won or lost. It was always about
Yeah.
doing better.
The
Every
next step.
match doing better, And so I had gotten down to 355, right around there. I lost like about another 4 pounds. My next fight in May was there was something going on with the paperwork. He couldn't fight me, something along that lines. So then a charity fight came up between me and James Orozco, and it was like getting his feet wet, getting him in front of crowds. But there was controversy around that fight because like it looked like a professional fight, and we had gotten suspended for that, and we had gotten a warning from USA Boxing because of how it was set up, even though it
Yeah.
was for charity, because of how it was set up, because of the way it looked. It we got suspended for that, and so there was some controversy on it. There was a lot of other stuff that I wasn't privy to, but I just knew that I got suspended. So did James. So did his coach. And so then, after our suspension, we then fought for real for this local amateur title for
Okay.
and
And that's what I wanted to get to. Let's talk about that championship fight. How did it go down?
um there was a lot of anxious vibes from both of us. We were both trying to feel each other out because the last time we fought, we didn't get to complete the fight because I had actually hurt my shoulder and couldn't lift my arm in the previous fight. So we didn't get to feel each other out 100%. We didn't get to feel it, like see what each other was about. Also, since then, I had lost about another 25 pounds, 20,
Uh,
25 pounds. I went into that fight about 335, but I had put on a lot more muscle, right? And I say that because I was trying to do things that heavyweights don't do. Um, moving like a welterweight, moving, things like just different tricks, different prying bars. And at the end of the day, a lot of that went out to the window because we clenched up a few times. I ended up out. I stayed calm. I went for points, right? And it wasn't a lot of points, but it was enough in that fight. It was enough to come out on top.
yeah.
Um, so we did that fight. I still had that title. I then fought this other guy in Piqua not too long after that, just staying active. He was a good individual, young. He's a young kid that's trying to really stay in it. And I fought him. That went 3 rounds. I got decision on that, but then I defended it in Upper Sandusky against a guy called the Viking. His name was Daniel, and that was kind of cool because it was kind of like two Viking brothers fighting each other,
Yeah.
because two bearded individuals just battling it out
Yeah.
in front of everyone.
That's a cool
And
promotion.
yeah, it was great because, and we even talked before and after, like we, we both came from like Viking heritage, and so it was really kind of low key, like we were just excited to battle each other. Like
Yeah.
it was what it was. Within the first 4 seconds, he came across on a jab. Like he came across, he cut the angle, and I caught him in center and was able to drop him within 4 seconds off of the jab.
Oof.
So like but it was a good stick. It wasn't like it was an up jab, like with good momentum in the middle of his center of gravity as he tried to cut across.
Yeah.
And that was my first TKO on that. Ended up being called right at the end of the second round. It was a good fight. I broke his hand. It was great.
Yeah. That's a good fight.
He
That's a
came up.
good
He's like,
scrap.
he came up. You crushed my hand afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
That
sorry.
head does look hard. That head does look hard. All right.
Oh
What
yeah,
does
no.
it feel like to be a champion?
Oh, so every people have asked me that. They're like, how's it? Mainly, they're like, that belt's pretty cool. You like that? Is that really good? I'm like, to me, it's a cool accolade. It's just plastic, metal, fabric. You
Yeah.
know, it's a shiny thing, but it's of this world. What I like is the fight,
Yeah.
and being a champion. To me, it's not about the stuff. It's just about what you represent, and what your story is.
Yeah.
And I just want to be a champion for my kids and for my wife. I want to be someone who represents God. And I want to mainly, if I could do anything, I have no idea what life's going to hold and what's going to happen going forward in life. But if I could do anything, is go out there in the world and show them what a true symbol of faith and strength is about. Because it's your faith in God, it's your faith in your family, and it's your faith in what's important to you that really shows what kind of a champion you are.
Yes,
And
sir.
I will tell you, like there's people like for example, some of these champions today. I will say some of them. I'm not going to say specifics because I'm not I'm not a smack talker.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but some of these champions, they do it for themselves and they're selfish about it. And they get all this glam, they get all this money, you know, and, rightfully them, they earned it. At the same time, what do they do with that? Are they selfish with it? Do they buy frivolous things? Or are they like, and I'll call this guy out, Manny Pacquiao? Are they like him, who goes back home, who has rebuilt, built schools, built
Yeah.
roads, built, helped build up their community? You know, uh, um, are they people like that, like him? Are they people like Muhammad Ali, who fought for injustice, who fought for, um, his culture? Are they people like him who will stand up to the big guy and say, "Hey, this isn't okay"? I'll quote Muhammad Ali. He said, heavyweight champion of the world can talk to any man in Russia, in China, and he meant that as like a networking. Like you can solve a lot of things as a heavyweight champion of the world because people look to you. People you are a symbol in their eyes, and he meant that shit. He
Yeah.
meant that shit. Like you can, and even regardless of how far this goes with me in life, what my journey unfolds to be, as long as I remember that it's your story and it's how people look to you and what you represent to help them with their lives and help them grow even stronger, within God, within their family, within their community. That's the important thing. So
That's
to
that's
answer
what
your
really
question,
matters. Yeah.
like how does it feel? It feels good, but it feels like there's weight there that nobody can really understand
Yeah.
until they actually do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely a responsibility. So you spoke on it a little bit, but what's next for you? Any fights coming up that people should know about?
I'm hoping to get one on May 3rd, up in Toledo. If I can't get that one, there's definitely going to be one more. My coach has already expressed that one more amateur one, and regardless of how that goes, which I'm going for a W, of course. I'll be going pro after that
Okay.
because life's too short, and
Yeah.
and most people, hey, my journey is completely different. Like I've been through 9 car wrecks, I've been through financial hardship, I've been through all kinds of life, and I've been through family deaths, friends deaths. I've been through life's too short,
Yeah.
and um, what I do in the background, I throw my heart and soul at it because I'm watching films from back in the day. I mean, I was watching something today. Uh, who is it? Charlie Burley. I believe that was his name. He was an old fighter back in the day, like one of the best fighters that was never a champion.
Yeah.
Um, and like I watch films from all kinds of people, all over. I mean, George Benton, um, Jake LaMotta, like
Jake LaMotta.
name it.
That's my guy.
Name one. Name
Yeah.
one. I'm probably have watched it or about to watch it. I do. I am going to turn pro, and I'm gonna all these fights are preparing me for what I'm gonna actually have to face, and what I'm gonna have to face as a heavyweight is an average of 6'4". I'm 5'10". Okay,
Five
so I'm
foot
gonna have to
10.
fight the giants.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fight the giants on average, and they're gonna be have years of advantage over me. But the one things they won't have over me is probably the size of my heart and the size of my passion I'm gonna throw at it because I'm gonna throw everything in.
Man, you got an incredible story, man. Uh Before we wrap it up, tell the people where they can follow your journey and drop those social media handles.
Just look up Charles Hinton, at on Facebook. I
Yeah.
also have an Instagram on there as well. As of right now, it's all just add me as a friend. I'll accept you. Um, just look me up, Charles Hinton, and you'll find me. I got my cover photo on there
Looking
with
like a Viking.
title. Yeah, yeah. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So
And shout out your gym too, where you're training out of, just one
oh,
more
of
time.
course,
And who's been in your
demolition
corner?
demolition fight team. Yeah, demolition fight team.
Yes,
They're out
sir.
of So they were out of Findlay. They're about to move full time over to Fostoria out of Venue 18. Demolition Fight Team. Hit up Gary Young. He'll help you with whatever journey you want, whether it's jujitsu, kickboxing, boxing, MMA. He'll make sure that you get the right training you need, teaching you how to throw your first punch, even if it's just for fitness and you want a place to go. If you want to spar and you don't want to actually compete, if you like whatever level you want to be at, he can help you get there. Um, like any coach, though, it's a dictatorship. He's going to tell you what you need to do, and what
Yeah,
you need to sacrifice, and where you need to go. And for me, being a part-time fighter and having a full-time job and full-time responsibility, he is able to get you there, even if you got all that stuff going on.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, massive thank you to the Bear King for pulling up and sharing the behind the scenes of this crazy sport. If you're watching, hit the like button, subscribe for more fighter interviews, and drop a thumbs up in the comments if you want to see the Bear King back on this channel after his next fight. Until next time, wipe your nose, I'll wipe it for you. My name is Mikhail Deshabui, and this is Punch for Punch.